You're watching TVP World's special coverage from the Warsaw Security Forum, and joining me now is the Estonian Minister of Defence, Hanno Pevkur. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for inviting.
Can I start with a simple question? Beyond Ukraine, is Russia already at war with the West?
Russia has been at war with the West since 2007, I would say, because this was the first time ever they conducted the hybrid operation. So it was the massive state-orchestrated cyber attack against Estonia. So since that time, we've been basically constantly seeing these different types of hybrid and cyber attacks. So just remember that they attacked Mr. Volkov in Vilnius, associate of Mr. Navalny. They've killed people, they assassinated people. So we've seen that they are conducting different operations on the European soil. Latest proofs here in Poland with the drones, and also violating the Estonian airspace for 12 minutes, which is unprecedented. So yes, they are, let's say, they are not in conventional war, but they are in a hybrid war with Europe, and they are testing and scratching our surface all the time, that where is the threshold of Article 5.
And do you feel like that escalation is taking place? You mentioned that there has been an element of Russian hybrid war since 2007, but are we at the moment seeing the scratching of the surface more and more?
Well, just take last 12, 14, 2 weeks. You see Poland, massive incidents with the drones, Estonian incident, violation of the airspace, Copenhagen airport, Gardermoen, Oslo airport, different other question marks, Romania, the drone incident. So you just name it. In last 2 weeks only, we've seen so many different incidents that it's not ever a coincidence. So it's an incident we have to react.
Do you see evidence, as Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky suggests, that Russia is using its shadow fleet to launch some of those drones into NATO airspace?
Well, I really do hope that Danish and Norwegian investigators can do a thorough work and can investigate and find out all the details. But of course, it's not easy. But I've said that many times before, that the shadow fleet is a threat, that you can use the shadow fleet not only carrying the oil, but you can also put different containers onto that ship, and you can use the containers for launching the drone swarms or launching 1 or 2 drones. So this, or even carrying rockets or missiles. So
you wouldn't be surprised?
I wouldn't be surprised, but the point is that Russia is using all the unconventional means to test us, but of course we need to keep our heads cold and brains calm, that we are not overreacting, because this is exactly what Russia wants. He wants us to talk about these issues. He wants that our societies will be, let's say, less supportive towards Ukraine, that we will talk about only our own issues, and of course at the same time testing also what is the response to these actions, what they are conducting.
So you think Russia, Vladimir Putin, is trying to play sort of a double game here? Test NATO, but also distract from Ukraine?
Well, I really do hope that we are more and more talking about how we can help Ukraine more, because of course, when we talk about Russian actions, then we are already on the play field what Putin wants us to put. That he wants to see that we are talking about him, his actions, and what he might do to Europeans and European countries. So this is why I'd like to concentrate on more our strengths, and also that what we need to do to help Ukraine to get the victory.
Given the hybrid threats that you mentioned since 2007, when it comes to testing NATO airspace, has NATO been caught short a bit here? Because we've seen NATO's Eastern Sentry mission now launched after Russia's incursion. Same goes for this proposed EU drone wall. Should that have happened beforehand? Look,
we are at peace, we are not at war. We are in peacetime. So, and
we are still at peacetime?
We are still in peace, let's say, in legal terms, in peace. And that, of course, as we have civil air traffic. We cannot have the same situation what Ukraine has at the moment, that the sky is basically closed. Everything what flies, you can shoot it down. So we cannot shoot down everything what flies. So this leads to catastrophe and human losses. So this is why we need to be very sure that what we are doing and our actions are proportional. So of course, Russia has put us into the position that we need to invest more into the capabilities we've not maybe planned to do some years ago, and also during the peacetime, that we really have to start being more resilient and bringing our forces to totally new readiness level, because during the peacetime you are not having the crews watching into the skies and waiting for the drones. So, but at the moment we are all looking for, let's say, unmanned systems and some automated systems where we don't have to necessarily sit behind the gun, but can have maybe the drone nests and which can react when something flies into our airspace.
You mentioned the risks or the dangers of shooting things down from the sky. What do you make of Radosław Sikorski, the Polish foreign minister's comments, basically warning Russia to say, if you bring your drones, your missiles or your jets into our airspace, we will shoot them down? Does Estonia share the same position?
These words were at the right place, said by Radoslav in UN Security Council. And we have to be very clear that this was, let's say, unnecessary move from Russia, and this was definitely something we will never respect and accept. So that means that you have to send a very clear message to Russia. But of course, as I said, in each case, we will make these evaluation and assessment. Is that threat really a threat? Because also in that case, in what we saw in Estonia, there was 3 very old MiG-31s carrying only air-to-air missiles, and we had everything under the control. We had 6 NATO aircrafts shadowing and escorting those old junks out from our airspace, and we had everything under control. So those MiGs had no chance against NATO, because we had F-35s, we had Gripens and Finnish F-16s. So was a different situation, or was it F-18, but nevertheless. So the point was that we had the situation under control. When there would have been any risk to our sovereignty or a risk to our, let's say, important functions or people, of course we would have shot these aircraft down, and there is no question, because then it would have been an attack to our sovereignty.
I want to talk about Narva, because Narva is often talked about as this point of contact with Russia, that if Russia were to launch an attack on a NATO country, that might be a point of weakness where it might do that. Is Estonia fearful of an attack from Russia? Do you believe that Russia could launch an attack into Estonia or across Narva?
Have you been in Narva?
Not yet.
Okay.
I wish to do so.
So please, you are welcome to see. Narva has a border river. So I've said many times that this river is a border of civilization. So on one side you have dictator, and on the other side you have the free world with the best educational system and best, let's say, economical and tax system, etc. And the reality is that we are not living in the First World War situation that the border guard goes out in the morning and sees the Russian tank. So it's not so. So we have our early warning capabilities, and it will not happen like this, that in one moment we will have Russian tanks in Narva. That first. Secondly, when something happens in Narva, that means that it's the same as it would happen here in Warsaw or in Paris. This is an attack on NATO territory, and that means that we will act together. And also Estonian troops are NATO troops, Latvian troops are NATO troops, and those troops, Americans, French troops, and British friends, are part of our defense system, defense ecosystem. So we will let's say, respond very quickly and very heavily, and I am not afraid of that there can be something, that NATO will not react. NATO will react if there is any threat to our city. It doesn't matter. Is it Narva? Is it Tallinn? Is it Võru in southeast of Estonia?
Estonia has really ramped up its defence spending, as has Poland. How important is the Rail Baltica line in ensuring that troops, in the event of an attack, or indeed just transport of infrastructure and parts, can take place? I mean, should that be a real priority? Is it a real priority alongside that ramping up of defence spending?
Every supply line is critical for us. So that doesn't mean that only Rail Baltica. We have also Via Baltica. We have also the sea lines. We have also the air lines. So for us, we have tested different options. Also this year we had the NATO's biggest exercise, the Hedgehog, where we had 18,000 troops in the forest of Estonia, close to Russian border. 6,000 were our allies. The full brigade, 4th Brigade from Britain, came to Estonia through different channels, so through different supply lines. And we tested that. So in that sense, of course, Rail Baltica is extremely important. And it is prioritized. We just concluded the budget negotiations in Estonia, and we allocated more money for Rail Baltica on Estonian soil. So yes, it needs to be ready as soon as possible, and this is important for the military also. But is it so that when it's not ready, that we are not ready to defend and to bring the allies to Estonia? No, because we have other alternatives also.
On Ukraine, I want to confirm, so Estonia would send peacekeeping troops in the event of a peacekeeping force in Ukraine to post-ceasefire?
We said that from the very beginning, and we clearly understand that this is a necessary thing to do because Ukraine needs to have the security guarantees. But I'd like to rephrase it maybe, and actually from the European perspective, we have to say that Ukraine gives the security guarantees at this moment to Europeans. So when the ceasefire is there, yes, we need to help Ukrainians first to reconstitute their army and then to rebuild their forces, because still I strongly believe that it doesn't matter how many forces we will send to Ukraine, the best and the strongest signal to Russians is a strong Ukrainian army. And secondly, of course, that means that we need to show that we are ready to go there and ready to retrain them and ready to reconstitute them. So there is no question about it.
And lastly, how important is a just and a lasting peace in Ukraine? Not just for Ukraine, not just for Europe, but also for the world. And I'm thinking now of China and Taiwan, sending a message not just to Vladimir Putin, but to the likes of Xi Jinping.
Well, we all understand what happens in Ukraine has its impact also to China and South China Sea and all the neighborhood in Pacific. So there is no doubt about it. And this is why we've always said that this is one of the reasons we have to help Ukraine, that this has an impact also to Indo-Pac. Now, when we look at how that all comes together, then we all understand that the best solution would be that Ukraine will take back all the territories, and then we cannot allow, as what also Volodymyr Zelensky said, that Russia is not drawing the lines, not drawing the new borders. So this is the clear understanding. Yes, there might be a ceasefire and even a peace, but how important long-lasting peace is, there is no doubt. The longer it lasts, the better it is. But unfortunately, we've seen that throughout last century, starting from 1918, when Russia started the war against Estonia, in every decade they started one war. And starting from 2008, Georgia, then 2014, Crimea, 22 full-scale invasion to Ukraine. So Russia is a threat, and let's say long-term threat. It's not that we can just take it away. So this is why strong Ukrainian army, and especially on our side, with these close to 1 million educated, trained soldiers, and peace in Ukraine, and of course Ukraine integrated to Europe and NATO, this is the best way forward.
Estonian Minister of Defence Hanno Pevkur, thank you so much again for your time.
Thank you very much.
And that's all for this exclusive interview here from the Warsaw Security Forum. I'm Aaron Dahmen. Goodbye for now.